This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Gemini and Gemini rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the solar eclipse in Scorpio, happening on Tuesday the 25th of October at 9:49 p.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. This is the second time that we've experienced an eclipse in Scorpio. This is the middling point of the journey, I would say, Gemini. I've actually recorded 6 months ago a podcast that's here on YouTube. You can go back and have a listen and try and think back to May 15th or 16th of this year and perhaps compare where you are in your journey and what has come to reconfigure itself. The tarot card that is going to guide us through this whole reading is the Five of Cups. I did for the other ones. Just a little trigger warning, I think, Gemini. If you're not in a place where you would like to discuss grief or loss, feelings like that, then I won't take it to heart at all. You can tap out of this one and we'll speak again later. But the reason that the Five of Cups is our guide for this reading is that the Sun and the Moon are at 2 degrees of Scorpio as this eclipse occurs, and also Venus, the planet of beauty and love and vitality, is in a conjunction with this too. So it feels very bright as much as it is dark. And the Five of Cups is the card of grief. You can see here the figure is lamenting over the 3 cups spilled. And they're taking a moment to mourn their losses and to mourn what no longer is in their environment anymore. Scorpio rules your 6th house, Gemini, and you may be feeling this. If you have planets in Scorpio too, there may be additional activation that's happening for you at this eclipse. But the 6th house is the house of ritual and of our daily life, our responsibilities and our commitment to the earth. So the eclipse is bringing with it change. The eclipse is bringing with it a redirection, perhaps if you find yourself on the wrong path. The eclipse also, we all have free will and we all can activate and listen and learn from the planetary energies, and nothing that happens in astrology is a fate that we're doomed to suffer. I will say that very directly. I don't believe that we are at the behest of the cosmos. Our power is that once we start to learn the language and once we start to feel our way through it, that we can actually co-create and we can work with the energies above. As above, so below. And perhaps when met with difficult circumstance or met with something that we are finding it hard to reconcile in some way, it's either in our body or in our mind, then we can look to the astrology and then we can find the pattern. You know, that's what human beings do, is they strive to find the patterns in life. That's what harmony is, in a lot of ways, is the way the intermingling relationship that one form has with the next. Think of an eclipse as a power outage. Think about it as someone unplugging a light, or the electricity has been cut off in the street. It's a phenomena that the ancients were quite frightened of. When the lights in the sky changed, that they had a rhythm to, that they were set in that rhythm, that pattern, when the eclipses would change all of that, there was a feeling of fear. Perhaps we've made the gods unhappy. Perhaps there's something that we have done to cause this chaos. It only lasts a couple of hours, and I think with time and repetition and also mathematics and ASTRO tools, we've all come to learn that it's a natural phenomenon, and it's quite simply one pattern intercepting with another. But we're talking magic here. We're talking astro talk. So I wonder, this is the time of the year that there might be some kind of urging or nudge into perhaps a different direction for you as far as your daily rhythm goes. I have the Three of Wands here, and I have the Tower, which is an eclipse in a tarot card. And then I have the Hanged One, which is Piscean energy, which is a moment of enlightenment. Looks like bondage. Not so. There's access to the greater collective consciousness. There's access to answers to questions that we perhaps found difficult before. So I feel that there may be something turbulent that's going on, either at work or it could be at home. There could be some kind of kick up to your routine that's being propelled on by the planets and their energy. I think that what might be a really great message for you, Gemini, is that whatever's happening for you right now, and as difficult or as triggering as it may be, this is for a purpose, and this is going to be an opening to a more aligned way of being for you. Think about the opposing energy of Scorpio too, that's Taurus, so that's where we'll be experiencing the full moon eclipse in 2 weeks. And Taurus rules your 12th house, which is the house of the unconscious. It's the house of that inky dreamland connected space. So there's something spiritual in these eclipses for you, and something very practical. And so it might be a message to align or to go with the flow, to release yourself to the balance of spirituality and of practicality, of the tangible, of the real. If we get lost in the 12th house, then there's no getting us back. As much as a lot of us would love to get lost in the 12th house, I would take this configuration of eclipses, this period of time. The nodes will shift in, I think, July of next year. So this is the middling point, as I said, as far as your daily ritual, your daily rhythm, your work, your practicality. This is another jolt to the system. This is another traffic light or a U-turn sign or a detour sign, you know. So Scorpio season's really difficult. Scorpio energy is really difficult. Scorpio is fixed water, fixed emotion, frozen emotion. Scorpio protects themselves with a barrier and defense because they're about to dive deep. Scorpio's been to the very bottom. They know the trepidation, the fear, and the bravery that it takes to get down there. And so for all of us at the moment, if we sort of zoom out a bit and understand that every single human being is experiencing a solar eclipse in Scorpio, no matter what the house, there's something here about grief re-emerging. There's something here about emotions that perhaps have been contained or boxed in to deal with later. This is the time when that stuff is being encouraged to come to the surface. That repression and suppression that we learn to do to keep moving is by the cosmos, by the planets, by the universe. Right now and for the next little bit of time, it's being encouraged to come up. In esoteric astrology, each zodiac sign has its function, but also its destiny and its goal to help raise the vibration for all of us, to help with expanding consciousness for all of us. Scorpio is a warrior. There's a sacred mantra that sums up Scorpio energy in one sentence. It is, "Warrior am I, and from the battle I emerge triumphant." So there's intensity there. And there's a protection. If you think about the retaliation of an animal when it's trying to protect itself, that's Scorpio. And it's ice, rigid emotion. And we know that emotion is better. Water is better when it's moving. I'm bringing all of this up, Gemini, because I can see that the power outages in the 6th and the 12th are probably really confusing. And there's probably shit you have to get done that you are, but maybe there's that roadblock is becoming too severe or too big to ignore. So I think at this solar eclipse, I think just for this bit of time, I would really harness in on the 5 of Cups. I would really take a moment to allow some of that water to move, to embody the Scorpio parts of you, whichever they may be. If you've got planets there, great, but you don't have to. Like, we are all, every single sign on the zodiac has a part to play in our lives. Every single sign, every single horoscope or character trait or whatever you'd like to say is an example of how we are all one and we are all connected, and our unconscious selves remind us of that. Our unconscious selves have greater access to perhaps the unconscious self of another because we are all the same thing. Keep doing your work, stick to task, stick to your rhythms, whatever you're using to regulate, whatever your day looks like, morning till night. I trust it, Gemini. I think that you're going to be doing everything that you know that you need in order to be kind to yourself. Allow the Scorpio in you to come out at this eclipse. I think it might be a great thing to do. Make friends with them. Make friends with that intensity. Enjoy that intensity if you can. There's so much to learn from Scorpio. So much to learn from Gemini. There's an equal exchange here that's important. And so, if you need to take yourself off and cry in the storeroom, then this is your permission to do it. If you need to, well, I'd be reluctant to say throw everything in the bin. I won't say that. That's probably a very bad thing to do. But as far as whatever it is that you're working on or that you're trying to get over the mark, allow that emotion, that want to throw it in the bin. You're entitled. You can feel that. You're not a failure if that's coming up. Don't throw it in the bin. Because there's regret maybe attached to that. I can say that because I've got so much Scorpio energy in my chart. I've got Pluto and Mars in a conjunction at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So this eclipse is going to flip my wig and really make me want to screw the whole damn thing up and throw it in the bin. So if we don't do it together, that will be great. Okay, Gemini, that's your reading. Yeah, more tarot than astrology, I think, for this one. Head over to umaruby.com, get your birth chart read via the readings page. I'll be back with you in 2 weeks and we'll have another reading for the full moon eclipse in Taurus, which is the one that's lighting up the 12th, the unconscious for you. So until then, I love you. I'll speak to you later. Bye.